Perhaps one of your New Year's resolutions is watching more films in 2024. Well, the Moxie Cinema in downtown Springfield is the perfect place to achieve this goal. Mike Stevens joins me now. Always good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Enjoying my 2024 so far.
Yes, we're just like a weekend, so let's hope it stays that way. All right, 3 exciting films. And let me just start by saying there's so many good films coming out right now. I am more excited already than I have been all of 2023. Let me just say that. So first up, American Fiction. What do I need to know about this film?
This is a new film by a first-time director, Cord Jefferson, and black director that is looking at a novelist who's very successful, well-reviewed, played by Jeffrey Wright.
Yes, such a good actor also.
Yeah, and apparently this is the one that might get him an Oscar.
Oh, okay.
He is a frustrated at where he's being received and kind of in a fit of anger writes a satire, kind of using all the worst stereotypes of black culture in a book, in a novel, and then he, in frustration, he publishes it under a pseudonym and finds great success. It's a comedy that skewers structural racism, that lampoons his own ambition as a novelist and what he's willing to do, and also this kind of strange appetite that we collectively have for black trauma. And all of that to say, it's still very entertaining and funny.
Yeah.
It won the Audience Award at TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival, which is consistently a bellwether for a Best Picture nomination.
Okay.
So, very excited to see it.
Yeah.
It is going to be starting on the 19th.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of press and teasers already out there for this film, and it looks really good. Who else is in this cast? Because he's not the only big name, right?
Yeah. Sterling Brown is his brother in this movie, and apparently fantastic. And Tracy, is it Ellis Ross?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and she chews up the scenery apparently, and just makes the most very funny role she has in this movie.
Okay,
She's
I'm
his sister.
super excited for this. And when did you say it hits the Moxie screens?
The 19th.
The 19th. Okay. Next up is The Zone of Interest.
Very different film. This is by Jonathan Glazer, a British filmmaker.
Okay.
Last film was Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson, and it stars Sandra Hüller, who was in a movie called Anatomy of a Fall that played earlier this year. So she's getting a bit of critical mass. Like, she's already being discussed for one of these performances as Best Actor, which is pretty rare for a foreign language film. And she portrays Hedwig, the wife of the commandant of Auschwitz, who makes this domestic world her life in the shadows of the fences and the chimneys of this death camp in Nazi Germany. So very kind of bleak premise, but keenly observed. Everything's kind of not in the foreground, it's in the background, all the awfulness, but that's kind of what it's about. It's looking at how, that frequently the worst that we do as humanity happens when we are not looking. And so this is kind of a case that something like a film in this case forces us to look at this, consider it, why as humans we have done this, and then hopefully not do it again.
Yeah, it's so fascinating because, Auschwitz and Hitler and his reign and all these horrible things that happened are something that we closely study in schools, in media, in all these different forms. For people that have maybe have an interest in this without sounding too dark, what do you think is something they're really gonna love about this film specifically?
Well, I think she frequently, the actor Sandra Hüller, said she did not ever want to do a film about the genocide, about Nazi Germany. It's very stereotypical for German actors to get pigeonholed doing these roles in the West, and so this is her exception. And it's because it's a very different film about that.
Angle,
that the angle is like, oh, this person who's not directly involved but is very much complicit in what happened, and I think that's the thing that kind of makes it the most interesting for me to see.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a really good watch. And when is that one coming to the Moxie?
That is coming at the end of January.
Okay, end of January. All right, last up, The Godfather, a classic, but tell people about it.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that gets quoted more than it's seen, unfortunately. So we hope people make an exception. It's part of a new series called 2 for Tuesday, where we play movies that are paired together. In this case, Godfather 1 and 2 on the 2 Tuesdays in January. 1972 movie by Francis Ford Coppola, kind of the sprawling generational story about a Sicilian crime family. It has 3 career-making performances by now revered actors, James Caan, Al Pacino, and Robert Duvall. And they rightfully made, the rest of their career was built on those, and they're amazing to watch. And it's 3 hours long, but it's built like masterfully with these climaxes based on a novel that was kind of a middling novel of the same name by Mario Puzo, but it is a American cinema masterpiece and one that's also entertaining.
Yeah, well, and I would almost encourage people or challenge people to leave the comfort of your home, go to Moxie, watch a film like this, and then go watch The Godfather. And then there's a show out on Paramount Plus where they, it's kind of like a drama series, but they detail the making of it, which is supposed to be really good. So, anything else you want to tease for me coming up in 2024 for the Moxie?
Very excited to have some kids back in our space.
Yes.
We're going to be doing, Moxie Mornings are going to be kicking off in January, as well as some field trips for third graders. We're going to be hosting 12 different schools from around Springfield. Yeah.
All right, Mike, if people want more information, want to keep up with everything going on over at the theater, how can they keep up with you all?
MoxieCinema.com is always the best place to go.
All right, thank you so much for being here. We always appreciate it. And as always, go check out a film you would not normally see at the Moxie Cinema.